got a treat for you today. We're in a Toyota AE86, a car we've wanted to drive for a very long time, as I always say in these videos, but seriously, this one's crazy unique. It is a full-on race car. It's got a Honda S2000 AP1 engine under the hood, 240 horsepower, but none of this finicky turbo nonsense that you don't want in a track car necessarily all the time. NA all the time. I mean, it revs to 9,000 RPM. Can't get much better than that. A lot of people would say that's exactly what this car needed to bring it up to kind of just modern standards, right? Just to bring it up to a respectable power number where it actually feels quick. It's awesome. Let's go for a drive.
I'm Patrick. This is my 1984 Toyota Corolla SR-5 with a twist. It's got an S2000 swap in it. I will probably be the first person on any media video to say I basically bought this because I watched too much Initial D. But one thing led to another, and I fell in love with it, and decided we need some more oomph. And at that time, that was the most logical thing to do. S2000 engine, everybody says it feels very strong up top, and you get that same feeling when the VTEC kicks in and you just collecting all the gears, and that's why I chose this motor. So I could just walk into any dealership and get parts, right? So that's a major merit for me, just being a practical track car.
As far as an AE86 goes, this is my first experience driving one. Probably one of the lightest cars I've ever driven, to be honest. So here's the thing, the whole philosophy behind this build, or at least what the idea would be behind putting in a crazy high revving engine, naturally aspirated, into a car like this, is that you get a very race car type of vibe from it. There's no waiting for the power, it's very linear. Now, if you really do want any sort of power, you're gonna have to rev it out. This engine really likes to be revved out. Even for the street settings here, it's pretty stiff. I mean, it's in the softest setting, so it's definitely soaking up some bumps. But it's a race car. I mean, things are kind of moving around. It's got solid bushings. You can hear a little bit of rattling here and there. The vibrations from the engine and everything are coming directly through the steering wheel. And then there's VTEC. It's not a slow car by any stretch of the imagination. Not at all. Not slow, it's got plenty enough power. I mean, this has just as much power as my stock MR2 Turbo from Japan, the most powerful MR2 they ever made. But it's naturally aspirated. It's a completely different character about it. It's awesome, I love it.
After owning this for like 12, 13 years, it's gone through stages. Originally in the early 2000s, there was this movement. Everybody's trying to build this car where you can use it every day, track it, drift it, do one for all. So I was going that direction at first. So there's a full interior. I was trying to put stereo in it, trying to fit air conditioning on there. Everything happened, but life happened, and we found out doing that while using it as a track car is not very nice, not very competitive, it's not as sharp. So as I grew older, I got myself a daily driver that I don't need to drive this anymore. This does quite well for what it is. A lot of people are surprised when this goes right up behind the 911s and Ferraris. They go, what do you have in it? I always just tell them, hey, I got a 4-cylinder in here, it's just what it is. I tried different cars on the track, and I always come back to this because it's really raw, it's really direct, so anything you do, it reflects very honestly to the car. I know there are a lot faster cars, cooler looking cars out there, but this just gets your heart racing just with driving it around. It's really raw. It feels like you're basically sticking your hand up against the engine block and just hold on. Basically, is what it feels like. You feel closer to death than you should. Really.
It's got power steering from a Yaris, so unlike a stock AE86, you've got that small minor convenience of having that ease of power steering, but I mean, it feels awesome. Lightweight goes a long way. That noise is crazy. I mean, it's a slow car from the factory, but that's exactly why the S2000 engine works so well with this chassis, is because it keeps the essence and kind of the whole meaning behind what the AE86, what made the AE86 so good to begin with. Basically just building upon that and bringing it all up to modern standards. This car's not to boast about what you have. The car's not showy whatsoever. The only purpose of the AE86 at its core, and what makes it such a great classic in my opinion, is just that it's 100% dedicated to the automotive driving enthusiast. It doesn't give a crap about any of the other luxuries. If there was an AE86 that I wanted to film, there's like a picture in my mind of a dream AE86 that I wanted to drive, even if I didn't necessarily realize it at the time, this is it.
As you can see, these are Varstones, so kind of the eBay special. These are just street wheels. These get me to the track and back, that's all they do. The car's got the JDM look. It's got all these bumpers replaced to JDM fitment. You got the carbon fiber front lip and a splitter underneath. Supposedly will help downforce on the track. I haven't tried that yet, so don't take my word for that. Carbon fiber trunk, all painted, just so it looks less inconspicuous that way. Mazda brakes, yeah, Nissan brake rotors in the back, Volkswagen brake calipers in the back, and you got power steering from a Toyota Yaris. And I know this guy who's Adam, AMT Machine Works. People call him Fabrication Machine Works. I call him a magician with a welder. He basically, I come up with an idea, I throw it at him, he say, "You think you can fit?" We'll try, and then later it just fits in the car. So I know Adam from way back, so this when it was swapped, it was over 10 years ago, right? And he did a lot of fabrication work in it, and since then he did at least 5 other swaps like this.
You feel the back end working its magic back there. The steering's very easy. A little bit over boosted in my opinion. That was a cat we almost hit. Well, that's one thing that Honda knows how to do, is to make a fucking awesome shifter. They know how to make a shifter. They know how to make it feel absolutely fantastic. It's great. Sure, the clutch is a little light. That's what you get with all Hondas. But this is a stock shifter. It feels like a highly modified short shifter kit or something like that. No, it's bone stock. It's what you get in an S2000 out of the box. Very impressive. This is one of those really unique cars. This combination of a very high revving, naturally aspirated engine combined with a crazy lightweight chassis is just not something you see anymore. It's something you have to build.
For the interior, a full Cusco roll cage. In there, I got a fixed bucket seat from Bride, reclinable Recaro in the passenger seat, just because you know, they need the hug too. I removed the fuel tank, the factory fuel tank, and placed it into the car for weight purposes and how the factory fuel pump has trouble picking up fuel after a certain amount. The differential's actually a Tomei LSD in a factory Corolla housing. So this is just locks really well. So if you want to go drifting, you want to come out corner with 2 wheels doing its thing, this is a really good setup. It's got a custom gear ratio. It's also very controversial. It's actually taller than factory. Most track cars get a shorter gear ratio. So a taller than factory ratio gives me a better cruising revs. It's exciting, I guess, if it has to be wrapped up in one word. It's really exciting in that it's not like a modern car. You can be going twice as fast as a modern car. It won't feel as exciting.
On top of all this, the AE86 is a very practical car. I mean, this is a Toyota Corolla. VTEC! Definitely, to this day, still considered one of the best engines that Honda's ever produced. I would have to wholeheartedly agree with that. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed our first video with the Toyota AE86. This has been a ton of fun. Subscribe if you haven't already. Go tell your friends. New videos every single Tuesday and Thursday. Listen to the Roads Untraveled podcast every Wednesday on iTunes, Shout Engine, Stitcher, wherever you download your podcasts. Head on over to roadsuntraveled.net to find all the music in our videos, as well as bonus content as well. The full build list, parts list will be down in the description for you guys, so check that out as well. We'll see you next time.